This is a coach who gets ECU back to a regional final a year ago. Has to revamp his roster this year, but a lot of talent for ECU coming into 2025 as this pitch is fouled off from Jack Herring.
Yeah, obviously at some point, and it could be tonight, Cliff will get that 400th win, and I'll be very curious to see what his response to that will be. I'm sure he'll give a ton of credit to the program and all the players that have come through. But, yeah, he's just a handful of games or a little over 2 dozen away from the legend, Dr. Gary Overton.
Dr. Gary came by our booth pregame. He's part of the radio coverage here at ECU, a great figure in Pirate Purple and Gold. Godwin 40-plus wins, 5 of his last 8 years, including a COVID-shortened season mixed into that. And Jack Herring, one of the new pieces out of the outfield, hits down 0-2.
If I watched the Pirates BP, and they must have been a little dissatisfied with guys getting out of the way of pitches because they were actually hitting them in BP, working on it.
Yeah, only 76 hit by pitches a year ago. That's traditionally low for a Cliff Godwin team. They'll average around 90 or 95 per year. No one diving into more pitches, though, than St. Peter's across the country. 135 HBPs last season for the Peacock.
You don't see very often they throw around the horn at the Division I level, ends up out in left field. Pretty good job there at Stevenson by presenting that ball for the umpire to see and maybe surprising the hitter just a little bit.
Here's Colby Wallace, who returns with plenty of accolades as a two-way standout. Entered the rotation in the bullpen late in his freshman year, traditionally a full-time hitter throughout most of his first campaign. He takes that slider down.
You know, Colby hitting just under 100 on the season has been a little bit of a struggle. I say a little bit, been a lot of a struggle for him. And hard times, baseball is just a game that, you know, all it takes is a couple to fall for you and you feel completely different about it. So this program definitely needs Colby to break out and quite frankly expects him to do so in short order.
A lot of potential for Wallace, no doubt about that. What Down East Wood Ducks hat in the building tonight. It's a good look here in the eastern part of the state. As Walker Barron takes a pitch outside. This is the final year of affiliated ball for the Wood Ducks, part of the Caronila League, which means those hats will be vintage commodities here in no time.
Actually, they made the change already, and they have started an independent club.
Oh,
that
great
will play
point. That is this year.
Yeah.
Oh, good point, because as the Mudcats move to Wilson.
That's right.
Much like college baseball conferences, there's a lot going on in independent minor league ball. Is there strike 2?
Well, the importance of independent baseball is greater than it's ever been before now that you're looking at a 20-round draft that, you know, is greatly condensed over what we've seen in the past, condensed in the minor leagues. Guys still go out to play indie ball to have a chance to get to the big leagues. We've seen several former Pirates that have had great success in the independent leagues, and some of them are now in affiliated situations.
Yeah, really good point. The development of these players, not just at the draft ranks, but how they maneuver throughout the minors. Carolina lead when we return 3-4-5 in the Tar Heel order after this. Season poll coming in with a red-hot start for Florida State and Virginia right now. That league is loaded, 7 in the top 25. And a couple of changes of note for the Pirates defensively. Dixon Williams will move out to center field. Peltier will go from center to right. And a new second baseman in for the Pirates defensively.
Roger Vergara, junior college transfer.
Yeah, there's Williams now into the game. So a quick change as Herring exits. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and Pruitt falls behind 3-0. You do wonder how much a part of that was the misplay in right.
Yeah, when he went down, maybe kind of stuck a knee in the turf a little bit, may have, you know, strained something.
We'll check in on that, give you an update as we know. And now a strike.
You know, when Cliff had alluded to earlier in the season that you could see Dixon Williams play all over the field, and we're seeing him in center field tonight, something that the Pirate fans certainly are not used to. On that one, right? He kind of walked it out of the box and felt like it was down and in. That's a very similar pitch that we have seen called tonight, but Stevenson, no doubt in his mind, the umpire agrees with him, and he makes his way down to first base.
Yeah, there's Vergara, who comes in defensively for the Pirates. A couple of early changes gives you a sense of the urgency of this Game 3. This is the debut defensive appearance for the junior college transfer from St. John's River State College.
He's a guy that a year ago was in the junior college national championship in Enid, Oklahoma. Solid player and has now found his way to his opportunity.
Yeah, that tournament out in Grand Junction, Colorado is one of the best you'll see in baseball.
And this one was the D2 in Enid, Oklahoma.
Great point.
Yeah. But he is a solid player.
Now the 1-1 is tip foul. Tyson Bass fights it off.
And Ev, we got to give a shout out to the Jungle Crew who brought some nice grocery pork chop. We got pork chops and lima beans and baked beans and
those potatoes with the cheese on
potatoes.
top.
I mean, thank you guys. It will not go.
Williams, who played a handful of games in center when Riley Johnson was injured a year ago with a shoulder problem. Johnson is since recovering from a postseason shoulder surgery. He'll hope to be back in the next couple of weeks for ECU. It's a good sign with Williams out there.
Good job by Pruitt to get Stokely to pop that one up with 2 strikes and never really gave him anything in that hot zone that he could handle.
How would you feel about heat maps on the TV screen, like adding that into the broadcast?
Why not? We got all the other graphics. Might as well go with that one, too.
We are pro analytics here on ESPN Plus. All the numbers. There's Rom Kellis, the 4th, who takes the strike. This would be an important 0 for East Carolina's bullpen that has been heavily taxed in this series. Starters went just a combined 8 innings in the first 2 games, and here's a quick call to the pen in the 2nd inning tonight. Since the split finger pitcher holds the ball like a split, do you pick off with the split, or do you change that mid-throw?
No. You'd handcuff the first baseman. No, they changed to a traditional grip and pick over. The Pirates ran Pruitt out there in game 1, 2, so these Tar Heel hitters are familiar with him, still having a tough time handling him.
Second, but a clean 3rd for Brad Pruitt. Good matchup brewing here in Greenville. 2-run game as we close out the weekend set. Heavy in the freshman class. We noted the 7 starters from a year ago that drafted or moved on via graduation. What it has opened the door for is a young Cliff Godwin lineup this year.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. These freshmen are super talented, and they show it. We see some things that are a little bit of growing pains, but for the most part, really talented group.
This is Alex Peltier, who moves to right field to lead off the inning. He made an amazing catch in Chapel Hill just yesterday. It was a shame there were so many good college basketball plays, including the Isaiah James behind-the-back layup that Magic Johnson was tweeting about. That might have been a top 10 caliber play, if not for all the great sports going on this time of the year. Now it's 1-2.
Yeah, talking about the talented freshman, I would put Peltier at the very top of the list, especially as it relates to the position players. He's a special player. Thing just kind of bottoms out right there, and that's just a quality pitch, and move on to the next one.
Speaking of multi-sport streaming, there's a lot going on tonight. I'm curious what they're watching. Maybe some Netflix binging, maybe some college basketball, Big Monday on tap, or maybe just other college baseball cooking. Double-digit games across the country today with weather making an impact. You finding new shows this winter, Mike? Anything you've been watching?
Not particularly.
Well, the wife got me into Love is Blind, Minnesota, St. Paul this season.
I don't know if I'd admitted that.
Well, that's what we watch.
Okay.
Not everyone watches the same thing. Happy wife, happy life, as we all learn at home. 3-0 count.
I said it before, Kalinich just does not carry himself like a freshman. You get that vibe from him here.
Here's a walk, and Kalinich is on for the 2nd time. Wow, that's how you keep track of a great night. Not an official flyover, but we'll take it.
That's a great shot there. That was cool.
Cool shot of the jungle, the atmosphere, everyone engaged here in Greenville, North Carolina. So now a man on with one out. Austin Irby steps in. We were wondering the night with the wind blowing out to right, could Godwin's left-handed heavy lineup find some power stroke here? But give a lot of credit to Aiden on the mound. He's limited that contact. Good use of the splitter there, 1-1.
Tell you what, his off-speed stuff is really, really good, and these young Pirate hitters are having a little bit of a tough go with it.
Hawkeye went 3 innings, just allowed 1 run in that Texas Tech start. That's the student section here at East Carolina. They're waiting to jump up and enjoy this party. 5,000 plus on tap. Here's the 2-1. Another good change of speeds.
Give a little credit to the jungle out there. I saw the center fielder's got his hands up. I think Coach Forbes
could this possibly
may
be
come
fan
out and look at
interference?
a little fan interference situation. Be just enough to really ignite this crowd.
Let's take one more look.
Good piece there. Drives it in the oppo gap where he's had some success. We'll see what happens here. Clean there.
Oh, there's the contact.
Okay.
You hit that fan in the right hand.
Yeah. Be interested to see how they kind of settle this one out. Clearly, you've got contact with the fan.
Could you assume a double and put second and third in that situation?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it's going to do is kill the ball there. And they're going to take a look at it and see if they can get a little better feel. I think they're kind of working through this one themselves.
Yeah, Steve Sanders has initiated a review, and look at those students jumping over the fence. That's like 4D, you know, right? You go to the movie theater, you get the hands-on perspective of what's going on. But for Williams, what a big swing here in this 3rd inning.
Yeah, one he needed desperately. And again, they tried to go back in there and got a pitch out over the plate, and he did a nice job. We've seen his home run early in the season was basically that same exact part of the park, or at least one of them was. So, again, a good sign for Dixon Williams. It'll be curious to see how these umpires decide this, and I'm sure Coach Palumbo down there having a chat, lobbying his point, as is Coach Forbes over on the Carolina side of the field. Kind of surprised we hadn't seen an appearance by the skipper, Cliff Galvin, going out to make sure his voice is heard, but he's perched on top of the dugout steps, ready to make an appearance if need be. We'll take another look here. You'll see the ball down clearly, no problem there. That's the part where the call becomes in question.
Wow, that fan took a beating there on that ball, too. That's a rocket off the hands.
Yeah, and that's one that if he's not there, it's probably a ground rule double.
And to your point with the runner at first, you can't assume he's going to score, correct?
That would put him back at third base. So I imagine that's how this will end up, is that runner will go back to third base.
Those are the 2 big power hitters from the night, Dixon Williams and Hunter Stokely talking it out. You know, these coaches have pregame meetings at home plate where they go over rules of engagement in the park. You never anticipate the fan reaching to the baseball, part of that.
Yeah, but it's become such a big part of the game, especially at the professional level, where you've seen rules put into play just for that situation. And probably the most famous one of all would be the Bartman situation that we saw interfere with Moises Alou there years ago in the playoffs.
That documentary was fascinating.
It was. That guy had a tough time.
He had to move down to Florida. He was persona non grata in Chicago for a decade. I was actually glad the Cubs won a World Series all those years later, because it was a rough life for Steve. Okay, so here's the contact. We're going to do a little picture-in-picture and give you a sense of where the runner is. That's what's being challenged. Because if the runner touches third by the time there's contact, he is allowed to score.
But as you could see from that shot previously, as it hit him, it looked like he was maybe a third of the way around second.
It's an RBI double for Dixon Williams. 1 on, 2 outs for Keenan Bowman now. And he goes first pitch fishing. How can this Carolina staff have worked backwards a ton today? Put a lot of pressure on the ECU bats.
Carolina respecting the speed of Keenan Bowman at the plate. Third baseman playing bag even and kind of adjusting, looking for a possibility of a bunt.
Bowman on 0-1 takes the slider down, riding a 4-game hit streak. He's been the most consistent hitter for the Pirates through these first 6 games. And his condensed 54, 55-game seasons. Any good start is so important here, especially here in the college game where RPI is a big factor. The 1-1 nips the corner.
A little 92-mile-an-hour on the black in that spot that we've been talking about, kind of down and away from Bowman.
Tying run now at second, and a good take. The Sapphire program, 640 win years in the recent Godwin tenure. A slower start by their traditional standards. And that gets tested tonight against the number 5 team in the country. Bounce back innings, such a big factor in college baseball. And this series last year, game 3 was here in Greenville. That was a 10-9 game with 6 different lead changes. Bristol Carter, the game-winning hit for the Pirates in that 10-9 thriller. Maybe not as offensive-minded tonight, but that's the kind of feel you get here in the second week with some postseason implications. There's Jackson Vanderbrake, who singled his first time up.
Yeah, I have all ideas. If we're going to see big offensive numbers, it's going to be on the back end of this game as both teams get into the back of the bullpens at the end of the weekend. And again, Carolina having a turn to go tomorrow, so they got to be considerate of that at least. But the Pirates do get the extra day, moving their game to Wednesday at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, both programs some schedule adjustments. Carolina was set to play A&T last Wednesday, but then Mother Nature had other plans. So the Tar Heels will play tonight, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then a roped line drive. It's just foul. East Carolina, meanwhile, to your note, they'll play Wednesday night and then host Kent State, Indiana State, and Virginia Tech in the infamous LeClaire Classic here in the eastern part of the state.
You know, such a big trend in early season baseball now, something that we see happening more and more with the tournaments, the single site, you know, multiple teams coming in to mix it up.
Well, and to your point, it's a great, with the Round Rock Classic in Texas, the Jacks Baseball Classic, it gives teams a tournament feel early, right? Testing arms, getting matchups, getting ready for.
You just don't see it very often, but that one hit right on the button at Boucher. The runner was already off. And Angelo, and that's more the effort of staying out of the double play when, you know, you don't feel like your guys at the plate, and I would say specifically Angelo, are necessarily the quickest guys on your club. So runner in scoring position with 1 out.
There's an opportunity for the Tar Heels to strike right back. Gavin Gallagher off a great freshman campaign. Now in year 2 for a Tar Heel club that was 11th in the country in hits last year. It was a lineup that could blister up and down the order, but 5 gone via the draft or graduation. And here's Gallagher, who was a big piece of that, 45 starts a year ago. Here's the 0-1. Pruitt threw an inning earlier this weekend, is now hovering above 40 pitches.
Yeah, no real action down in the pen for the Pirates. You got to wonder what his number is, and it may just be going until you're ineffective.
And to your point, how valuable would that be getting him to the 5th or the 6th if you're Cliff Godwin?
So I think this is going to be a warning about the hitter has to address the pitcher, and address being maybe look at, there's kind of open for interpretation, but
by a certain time on the clock,
8
correct.
seconds, and the umpire must not have felt like he was given a fair opportunity.
20 seconds between pitches. Here's the 1-1. And for the Tar Heels, who are now threatening big time in the frame. Here's Kane Kepley, third plate appearance. We're only in the fourth inning.
And that'll get the pin up. Looks like they got a lefty down in the Pirate bullpen.
East Carolina club that only turned 28 double plays a year ago. That was not because of poor defense. It was a pitching dominant team. High strikeout numbers last year. ECU led the American in fielding percentage. And there's the 1-0. And there's the bullpen getting loose. Cliff Godwin, a busy weekend with the pen. 8 relievers yesterday. Used just 2 on Saturday. Pruitt and Ethan Young. Young, who was fantastic. 3 1/3, 5 Ks. And a nice stop there from Barron.
Yeah, it looked like number 21, Nick Miranda, on the pen. Another one of those guys, kind of well-traveled, Wake Forest and Liberty in his collegiate career. Seen him in the starter role here at East Carolina already, and obviously out of the bullpen, so he works down there to get loose.
That does clip the top of the zone. Keep in mind the left-hander, Alex Madeira, due up next, and then Luke Stevenson. So this is a left-handed heavy part of the order if you're Coach Scott Forbes. And there's strike 2.
I would fully expect they're going to put the runner at first base, Gallagher, into motion here. Kepley, guy that puts the ball in play, runs well. The whole point in their offensive opportunity right here is to just stay.
That's 5 walks drawn.
Really in the most competitive situation there. Kepley easily takes that one and trots down to first. It looks like that'll bring Austin Knight out of the bullpen, or I'm sorry, out of the dugout.
Yeah, pitching coach, and I'll have a quick chat with his stud right-hander, Brad Pruitt.
I'm going to bet you this is a trip to the mound. He's going to probably let him know he's coming out. They're going to go back down, and then Cliff will come out and make the change because Moran just got up not very long ago.
Those are the numbers for Pruitt. Where he was really efficient Saturday. That was a big reason he had some length today, just 7 pitches in that scoreless inning. And looks like Pruitt will face the next batter here.
I don't know, Ev. We've seen this shuffle before where as soon as AK gets in, we'll see the skipper, but he's making some notes down there. I don't know if he's going to make the move here or not.
You know, Molly, I think you're onto something.
All right, we're going to go get him.
Here we go. First pitch to Alex Madeira coming. And that one skips in the turf.
You know, the reason I thought that pitch of change was imminent right there is you got a left-hander to the plate and left-hander warming in the pen, so I thought, you know, hey, that's – you know, makes sense right there. Lefty also on deck in Luke Stevenson.
That one's not very close either. 2-0 count. Alex Madeira, who a year ago hit over 400 with men in scoring position. He's already got 4 RBI this year and a chance to really do some damage.
Dangerous pitch right here.
Swing and a miss. Good splitter.
Yes. It's pretty gutsy with bases loaded to throw the off-speed offering there, and I mean he was obviously sitting dead red and just swung over it. Straight deal, or even, you know, flat out. That's about the best case scenario because Luke Stevenson, as we saw last night with the 3-run home run, or yesterday afternoon with the 3-run home run, he has some juice in the stick.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. A very patient Carolina order. 6 walks today sets the stage for Tyson Bass. That's a really close pitch, ball 1.
Yeah, you got to think the fans are going to want that one. That's the one we keep talking about. That must have been just a little low for his liking. You see Bass again, you know, big power numbers coming out of the Division III ranks, and it's a big, aggressive, fairly violent swing that looks like it's a pull side.
Score, and the Tar Heels take advantage. That ball gets away from Stevenson, and nice base running. Vergara takes second. Now in scoring position.
Yeah, pretty good job to block that pitch, but he just lost it. It was directly underneath him, and that's sometimes one that's hard to get to. Maybe even bounces off the umpire.
And I think if Stevenson grabs that cleanly, he has a chance.
Yeah, he looks up at the runner instead of focusing on picking up the baseball, and Vergara goes into second base safely.
Now a 2-0 count to Walker Barron. That takes a looping strike. By the way, that strikeout for Aiden Hawk puts him now at 8 Ks. That's a career best for the Fayetteville Tech transfer. Now here on 2-1. Little small ball from Cliff Godwin's program, and that's fouled back.
You know, kind of interesting. I've talked about it a lot tonight, how the quality of at bats that Walker Barron's had. And he's 1 for 1 on the night and gets ahead in the count. I don't know if he made that choice or if that came in from the coach's box, but kind of interesting. Look, he did have the third baseman back there camped pretty deep, so.
Barron takes high. A recruited defensive first catcher who now in year 2 is having to lean on his offensive prowess. Big home run early in this series, and he singled tonight. An important 75th pitch for Aiden Houck here in the 4th. And gives up weak contact. There's Alex Madera. And we'll move the runner to third here with 2 outs.
Tell you what, Barron runs pretty good for a catcher too. Put a little heat on Madera, and you got to think Walker Barron's caught 3 days in a row. Matter of fact, he's caught every inning of every game that the Pirates have played. So you know he's got to do a great job of taking care of himself. But you'll see he gets out of the box pretty good here. And you know you think catcher running, but Barron at least makes it a little bit interesting.
And as you've seen up and down college baseball, the double bases at first, a new implement this year from a rule standpoint, helps avoid some awkward contact on those bang-bang plays. Yeah, new part of college baseball. Sometimes it's the pitch clock like 2 years ago. This year it's a base implementation. And here's Boucher, the Old Dominion transfer. He'll get a chance to face his former compatriots on Wednesday.
You know, I don't have a problem with the double bag. I think it makes it interesting if you have that third strike that gets away from the catcher towards the dugout. How is that going to happen? You know, what's the first baseman have right to? But it seems like they could have just gone to the bigger bag like the big leagues use and basically accomplished the same thing without ultimately probably making that transition anyway. You know, what you see at the big leagues has a tendency to trickle down. We've seen it with replay. You know, we've seen it with different things. So I wonder why they didn't just make that move. But either way, we got the double bag at first.
Some of the many new things you see in college baseball this year. Now 1-2 count on Boucher as Alex lays off.
You know, you see the Hills consistently just pounding that breaking ball down and away to Boucher. Yesterday, the 2 hits they gave up were balls that just hung. Both of them were away, and he pulled both of them firmly. But they really feel like his out spot is that down and away breaking pitch.
Here's the 2-2. A good fight from Boucher. That's been a staple of Cliff Godwin's tenure here in 11 seasons. Difficult team to get out with 2 outs. Typically a low strikeout team despite the 8 Ks from Houck tonight. And there's the man who started it.
He'll make his way down. You know, he carries himself, Stokely being the guy I'm talking about, is kind of the maybe one of the alphas on the team. Even watching him in BP, throwing his bat and kind of, you know, it kind of had a little bit of like a professional wrestler kind of motif about him. But he takes that one off the back of the tricep and finds his way to first.
Yeah, I love the personality and the demeanor of Stokely. He sets the tone for this Tar Heel team. As Kellis fights one off. You a WWE Raw guy? You watching some Monday night
it's
wrestling?
Been years.
Well, we do have some Monday night matchup here in Greenville. 2 programs that'd be fun to watch them spar after it. We're seeing on the diamond tonight as that pitch skips away. Stokely moving to second.
This game kind of seems to have fallen into a little bit of a weird rhythm. Little struggling with the strike zone for the Pirate Club, and then you got the hit by pitch, and then you get a ball bounced and a free pass, and Pirates need to clean it up a little bit.
Here's the 1-1. This will roll foul. You know, the Pirates staff struggling to throw strikes. Then that has been a bugaboo on the weekend. 9 walks yesterday. Just 3 walks and a good pitching performance Saturday, but it has worked the taxing innings and pitch count for ECU.
They already have another arm up in the pen.
And a quick pick before that pitch, but hold on. Umpire called time.
Yeah, I don't think Big Stokely was counting on that one. Vergara slid in behind him.
Kellis, the Florence Darlington Tech transfer, takes high and away. He was the Region 10 Player of the Year at the junior college level. Local product from South Carolina, second-team All-American. And stepped up from the power department last year. 20 bombs for Darlington. Here's the 2-2. Went off with the count full.
It even feels like the fans here are feeling a little listless. Like, again, this game's kind of fallen into a little funky pace.
And Coach Forbes is loving it, the hustle there of Stokely.
Yeah, that's one of those things, again, where, they look, man, these teams know each other. They've been watching Dixie for the better part of 3 years now, and they know that that's, a little bit of a challenge for him. And we talked earlier how Stokely is so instinctive according to his teammates, and that's one of those situations where, maybe he's a little quicker than he looks.
We got angles all over the park tonight. If you need a camera angle, we'll find it. 11 different cameras.
Well, this angle will get Coach Godwin coming out.
Yeah, we've seen this angle from time to time tonight. No, good point.
Be the night for Moran. Yep, he's going to the right-hander.
Cliff Godwin making the pitching change here in the 5th. And halfway through this game, there'll be plenty of more mixing and matching arms. How about this new arm for the Pirates? Ian White Jr. enters when we come back. 3-run ball game. What a Monday night for college baseball with a new pitcher on tap. And now a situational spot here with men on and 1 out.
Yeah, we knew that they were going to have to turn guys that we'd already seen this weekend. I mean, used a lot of guys, obviously, yesterday. And so you knew this was starting to happen, and we've seen now White twice in this series, and we've already seen Pruitt twice in the series. So we're starting to see some guys that these Tar Heel hitters are familiar with.
And if you're North Carolina, seeing the familiarity with the arms, how does that play a factor in a night like this?
Oh, look, man, it's everything. There's reasons why you only have relievers face lineups one time through the lineup. You change looks, you change kind of rhythms, and so I mean it's a big deal, especially if you're a guy in the Tar Heel dugout that had some success against White. You're kind of licking your chops wanting to get back up there against him.
Thanks for joining us here in a sold-out crowd at Clark LeClaire Stadium. Game pushed back from Friday with snow in the area. And great news, we got perfect weather tonight. Tar Heels, 3 runs in the second, couple more in the 4th for insurance. And now East Carolina, who scored first, looking to stop the bleeding here in this 5th inning. A bullpen that's been well tested. And Ian White, who has scoreless in his outings on the weekend, back to work.
Well, Ev, while we have a little break in the action, I got to take a second to wish a very happy birthday to a very special person to me. Miss Erin Driver. A lot of the Pirate fans will know who she is. Happy birthday. 29 again, I understand. So, again, happy birthday to Erin, and I know they're home watching the game and enjoying a birthday dinner.
Hey, birthday baseball and a good chance to enjoy a nice night. I'm all for that. Good sights and sounds of what's cooking here at Clark LeClaire Stadium. One of the more unique and exciting atmospheres in college baseball. Unfortunately for the home folks tonight, it's been Carolina taking the wind out of their sails through a few innings. Patient hitters drawing 7 walks tonight.
This is what we needed, was another delay. Apparently the pitch communication system they're using is either not working or maybe you just got to swap it out. Yeah, give it a listen.
Oh, you're having trouble hearing the signs.
Yeah, I can't hear it. Yeah, we're going to need a new one. No. Okay, got it figured out.
Must have adjusted the dial.
You know, it's amazing. You talk about all the evolutions and things that have happened to change in the game. Between the wristbands, you see guys looking down, getting offensive signs, and then the things that look like eye watches where pitch calls are. Now they can actually hear, you know, and it's kind of takes you to think about the green dot on the football helmet where you have one player on each side that can hear the code. So technology just continues to evolve.
Makes me think about those phone commercials. Can you hear me now? All over the country, making things happen. Jackson Vandenbrake now digs in. And he takes a slider for strike one. Ian White, who earned a save in his debut, that helped secure the George Mason series. He's pitching some big spots early.
Trong câu phụ vã lời chia tay khi chỉ một pháo